Hello and welcome to this session. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on where you are joining us from. It's a pleasure to have you with us. My name is Maider, and I am the Training Initiatives Advisor. And on behalf of Basque Culinary Center, based in San Sebastian, I would like to thank you for being here today and for your interest in our master's degrees. Over the next hour, we will be talking about the 3 master's degrees in science and food industry, starting this October at our new location, GOE Gastronomy Open Ecosystem in the heart of San Sebastian. I will soon introduce you to the academic coordinators of each master's degrees, and we will also be joined by 2 alumni from the Master in Gastronomic Sciences. They will share their experiences, so stay with us. It's going to be a very interesting session. On the other hand, please feel free to use the questions and answer section to send us your questions. We will answer them at the end of the session. And now let me introduce Juan Carlos Arbolella, Director of the PhD program in Gastronomic Sciences. He will give us an overview of the academic vision behind these new master's degrees. Hello, Juan Carlos.
Hi, Maider. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Let's start, Juan Carlos, with the overview of Basque Culinary Center, please.
Sure. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everyone. Welcome. We are so happy just to give this talk. We started, if I remember, 10 years ago, almost, with the first master program in gastronomic sciences. And we did a lot of work to be here now, trying to show you 2 more masters. We're going to have in October, this October 2025, 3 master degrees in science and food industry. They are really focused on something that we really care from GOE or Basque Culinary Center, which is the future of food. We are kind of obsessed about what or how are we going to eat in the near future. Everything is changing. It's something that you already know. So we really want to do a big effort by working in these topics, gastronomic sciences, food fermentation, and sensory analysis and consumer sciences. But you can wonder, we are actually a faculty in gastronomy. I don't know if you've been here already in San Sebastian. This is our building, the faculty of the Basque Culinary Center, which is not the place where you're going to be all the time, although you will visit and you will do some work for sure in this beautiful faculty. But anyway, again, this is a faculty of gastronomy. So some people could say, what are you doing by just launching masters in science? Well, our approach from so many years ago is from gastronomy. And we see gastronomy like not only cooking, gastronomy as a common space. A common space, talking about food, obviously, where if you have in your hands a piece of bread, you are not only seeing that bread as a foam or as a fermented food. You are seeing also culture. You are seeing also history. You're seeing also sociology, anthropology. So that's what we see when we talk about food a very, very complex topic. And that's why we have this global vision called Gastronomy 360 degrees. That means that we see gastronomy as a very, very wide, or with a very, very wide vision. If you look at some topics like we care about it, like health, sensoriality, sensory sciences, or sustainability, you can just dig in and you realize that if you talk about health, you need to talk or you understand a little bit about education, technology, consumption, culture, research, and the other topics too. So that's our approach. So if you are like thinking about, well, with my profile in food science, would be suitable for me, this kind of master programs. If you see the other picture, the GOI educational programs, that's how we are, or that's how we see ourselves, like a very complex ecosystem. If you talk about again about that bread, you can explain or you can just have some answers from different profiles: agri-food engineering, microbiology, culinary arts, obviously sociology. So if you are one of those, you are available just to be part of these educational programs. We don't have a list, as you can see. We have a network. That network must be together and correlating different areas of knowledge in order to really understand what's going on food. Same thing, maybe you are a food technologist, but you are not prepared to do this kind of master programs. Why? Because again, we really care, and we are like something that it is really important for us is the personal and general skills. Some skills that you already have for sure, at least you are curious about it, and you need to be like with a very open mind, I would say. You need to have a lot of passion. You need to like to work in teams with humility, because imagine that's what we are doing at the moment. Imagine a group of people as a team made by a chef, a anthropologist, a scientist. That's gonna be difficult to deal with, but that's what we looking for, because as a complex system, which is the gastronomy and everything related to food, we are going to work in a very complex ecosystem too. But if you are willing to, that's your place. And talking about place, I mentioned before the Faculty of Gastronomy, but we have a very, very nice and new place. That's something that I want to share with you now in this video.
From this constantly evolving world where science, creativity and the spirit of exploration go hand in hand, now emerges GOA, Gastronomy Open Ecosystem, a revolutionary project that blends a passion for gastronomy with talent, research, innovation and entrepreneurship. Basque Culinary Centre presents GOA, a space where gastronomy will be constantly created and redefined with the aim of responding to the world's great food challenges. A project that seeks to cross the frontiers of knowledge, crossing the boundaries of different disciplines and strengthening the relationship between the gastronomy value chain's players. GoA will be where the professionals who are going to steer the sectors on its course will be trained, as well as offering high-level postgraduate training, master's degrees, doctorates and advanced training. GoA will engage in high added value research and innovation activities led by the Gastronomy Technology Centre. Laboratories, living labs, media labs, prototyping kitchens and co-creation spaces are just some of the venues for developing advanced services for companies. We nurture the international gastronomic ecosystem through gastronomic entrepreneurship support schemes such as incubators, accelerators, co-working spaces, and financial tools that strengthen the ecosystem. GoA is set to design and create experiences and events focused on spotlighting gastronomy's transforming power, initiatives based on a path-breaking vision of gastronomy and the gastronomic community. GoA is a unique talent ecosystem, a technological innovation district located in Donostia San Sebastian, oriented towards the creation of solutions for companies, entrepreneurs, postgraduate students, and researchers alike. Welcome to the future. Welcome to GoA.
Do you like it? It's just already almost there, prepared, and we are very close to the beach. So if you are fed up of everything, you can just go just for a quick swimming. Although in the winter time, maybe water is a bit cold, but anyway, it will wake you up for sure. Okay. It's time to dig in a little bit, just to explain in detail, well, more or less in detail, all the different master programs. I have the pleasure to introduce you Constanza Díaz del Castillo. She is the coordinator of the Master in Gastronomic Sciences. Hi, Costi.
Hi, Juan Carlos. Thank you for the introduction. And linking to what you just said, I will present the Master in Gastronomic Science, in which looking into this complex future of gastronomy and what we are passionate about and we want to happen in the future, we want to develop in the future. The Master in Gastronomic Sciences is a call to action for change makers and researchers who see gastronomy as this field in which you can actually shape the world and shape the way we interact with each other. It's an opportunity for those interested in innovation, cultural understanding, sustainability, for example, and opening a career in the food industry. In this space, we embrace gastronomy in a holistic way. This program is not very focused on something very specific, but it opens gastronomy for people to understand like different approaches. So at the end, the master becomes sort of a laboratory where people from all over the world, different professional backgrounds, different interests come together to create something or introduce themselves in what gastronomy have to offer, no, and what they expect this field to be. As Juan Carlos was saying, we don't focus only in the culinary part or either the scientific one. We explore both, and we play with this perspective in order to try to reach out what really the research in gastronomy can be, because we truly believe that there is very difficult to address everything in one project, but we can kind of understand what the change that we can create or what the impact that we can have can be measured and framed. So the program is a year and a half program. The first year is in the Basque Culinary Center, and in the second year there are 5 months where you go to do the final project in a company or in a institution. In the first year is divided into 2 semesters. The first one, we think of it kind of as a space to create a common language, because there are people from law, from economics, from food science, for gastronomy. So the idea for this first semester is to give an overview of what the research methodologies can be to work in a research project in gastronomy, introduction also to sensory perception tools from a very scientific side, but also from a more experiential one. New product design, which is the very scientific class, where you explore microstructures, but also microbiology or enzymes. Then project management will allow us to deal with everything that is going to happen in the second semester, which is very challenging. And new business model with the introduction of the main topics related to creating a startup or managing a business. And in the second semester, we apply all this knowledge into the development of challenges and the main project that I will quickly explain after. With this, in this part, we have statistics applied to R&D in order to kind of being able to understand the results that we are having through our experiments, sociocultural effects of gastronomy, in which we embrace like the other levels of complexity that are not only in the product, in the food, or in the dish, but beyond what we can sometimes manage. Design and architecture of dishes and menus. This is a very culinary one, in which we put all the knowledge into creating a dish, a plate, and understanding how a concept of a restaurant can work. Knowledge transfer, in which we try different formats to communicate our results or the research that we are doing. And new business model bootcamp, in which we put into practice what we learned as the main concepts in the first semester into the development of value proposition for a startup. In this year, you will be developing a research project in team, everything like we working a lot in team. The main project explores how these different methodologies can come together to really understand and dig into a more specific research question or topic that you want to explore. And in this part is where we kind of really see how different pathways can be created into the gastronomic field. And in the second year, as I said, you go to do the final project, whether in the food industry, in a university, in a restaurant, or in another like startups or other types of projects. So at the end of the master, we have different kind of professional profiles, depending on on your professional backgrounds, but also on what you develop in the classes in the master, because we believe that with this diversity of perspective, some students put more focus on one type of content and on other, depending on their interest. So at the end, we have some people that go, for example, for business innovation, which are the ones that put more focus on new business model or new product development and project management, for example. Then you have gastronomic research, that are the ones that put more like effort into research methodologies, that are interested in really understanding how to create new tools to research in this constantly changing field. Social innovation or territorial development, also a lot of people going to this path, focus on sociocultural effects of gastronomy or research methodologies. Another profile is experience design, or one that is more focused on the restaurant part. These are more focused on new product design, project management, sensory perception type of content, and finally R&D, whether it is in food industry or in a restaurant or in a lab, which are like focus on new product development, project management, and knowledge transfer, for example. So this is, here you can see how broad the Master in Gastronomic Sciences is, that there is place for everyone to find their perfect fit, and also to get to know many different people. The mentors here are also from very different backgrounds. So you can kind of shape this future that Juan Carlos was talking about from a holistic perspective.
Thank you very much, Kosti. Yeah, pay attention to this, to all of you, because if you saw the program, you could see their sensory perception. The students from gastronomic sciences, they give lectures on sensory analysis, or in food product design, you have microbiology. Pay attention to this, because at the end, after the explanation of all the masters, we will just trying to explain the differences between one and another. So, right, let's go with the second one, second master program in food fermentation. Let me introduce you, the coordinator of the food fermentation master program, Cipriano Carrero. Hi, Cipri.
Hi, Juan Carlos. Broadly speaking, the act of fermentation can be summarized as a historical collaboration, a joint effort between microbes that long time have been recognized as actors in the act of fermentation, raw materials, and as a gastronomy, I'm thinking about their enzymes, and humans. And this joint effort has left a delicious and a very, very deep mark on the history of the food. So the biodiversity in this process is insane. It's the combined action of bacteria, protozoa, fungi. So all of this is like up to here is like very common. But from the perspective of a gastronomy, the enzymes from different sources like seaweeds or from the plants or animals, they can take part in the act of fermentation. So all of these actors, like the diversity is huge, are selected and regulated by humans, okay? So, and it's there where this master is taking part, because the fermentation is a direct act of transformation. So as this process unfolds, the fermentation, a huge variety of compounds are generated, and we can enhance or not, or ruin flavors, aromas, the nutrients. But not only this, also we can affect in the preservation. So from a gastronomy perspective, the potential of this process is insane, it's immense. So, and it's a ground for exploring an unimaginable number of culinary possibilities. So this Masters of Food Fermentation, is the very first and the only one, I can say, around the world that study the fermentation from the concept of gastronomic science. So Juan Carlos, please, we go to the next. We have work in this curriculum plan that you can see here, but like from a gastronomic science point of view, we need three pillars, very, very important. We need first, as you can see here, the food science and technology. We need this to know the science that behind of microbiology, enzymology, the science behind biotechnology, for to understand the process. No, so, once that we understand this process, is when it appears the second pillar, is the culinary. The culinary is like how we can transform like these raw materials and using enzymes and microbes and any other tool that is accessible to us for to create a food that is going to be sold in a supermarket or a dish that is going to be served in a restaurant. And the third pillar is the anthropology, sociology, and culture. Very, very, very important within the gastronomy science. So this master has the same structure of gastronomy science. We have 2 semesters of classes. First semester, as you can see here, like we have like the more like basic, like elemental knowledge that you have to know in food fermentation. So you have food microbiology, food enzymology to know how to work with enzymes and microbes. Science. Also, you are going to have instrumental and sensory analysis. It's very important in the fermentation science to get data. So it's the 2 principal ways that we have. And then you're going to start with to get the culinary tools. So you will have the subject of culinary techniques and processes. And also, you will start to go deeper in this anthropology and sociology of fermented foods, knowing about the relation between philosophy and the fermented food, the relation between politics and the fermented products. So, finishing this first semester, you are ready to go deeper in fermentation science. In the second semester, so with all that food microbiology and food enzymology, you will to be able to work like more with bioreactors and the scaling up and so on in biotechnology. Also, very, very, very important subject like food quality and safety, to know what are the critical points and so on. And one very, very nice culinary subject. I would love to be taking part of the one. Is a design in fermented foods. It's like with all these tools, like how we can create these dishes and final food products. And one from the social science, more culture, I would say, is fermented foods and beverages around the world. So it's going to be a trip about the different cultures, how they are using different raw materials, enzymes, and microbes to develop new food products. And the one, like, it don't fit in any of these pillars, but it's in all of them, is research and innovation in gastronomy. Is very important because we are looking for the research and development of companies and also for the research in academia. So it will give you the tools to access easily to a PhD program after the master. And finally, in the second year, you will have your final master project. So I have 2 minutes left. Juan Carlos, please, in the last one. So if someone, I was making a little effort for this slide. Like if someone asked me, like when I finish this master, what I want to be? So I was thinking, yes, you are going to be a fermented food product developer. You will be a little more like, as Consti said, more in the social science or in the more food science and technology or in the more culinary. But you are going to be a fermented food product developer. So could be you be more focused industry hospitality, more in the prototypation, scaling up of the product, or within the academic area, like doing research. So, finishing this program, you are going to be a gastronomer. Okay, you are going to be a gastronomy. Specializes in fermentation science. So you will have a really big knowledge of food biotech, a huge knowledge of food science and technology, focus, of course, in fermentation science. And also, you will have a lot of tools, culinary tools, to transform these products, and a knowledge in the social sciences, focused in fermented food products. So here I got my 8 minutes, Juan Carlos.
Okay, thank you very much, Cipri. Someone is singing around you. Was listening some singing.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Cipri. Very exciting master program. Look, that's a wide vision again, a global vision. But now with this program, you will just be a real expert in a very specific topic like fermented food. Okay, thank you very much, Cipri. It's time to go to the last master program in sensory analysis and consumer science. I have the pleasure to introduce you Raquel Mestre. Hi, Raquel, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you. Okay, so we go with the last one. Probably this is the more specific one. This master is to be specialized in sensory analysis and consumer science. It's important to say that this master is unique in Europe. You are not going to find another master related with sensory analysis and consumer science, because it's you're going to find like some subject related with sensory analysis in other majors, but this is the only master where you're going to have like all the information and all the knowledge, and you're going to develop all the tools related with sensory analysis. Also, this master is an official collaboration with the CSIC IATA, that is a agro-technical institute from the government here in Spain, and which have an amazing team in sensory analysis. So we are launching this master together. And part of the team in sensory analysis from the CSIC IATA is going to be part of the professor of this master. With this master, you're going to have in-depth knowledge about how we feel, how we perceive the food, and all the knowledge about the consumers, the different between different cultures, the different in terms of physiology, in terms of neuroscience, all the difference between different consumers. So when we are going to launch a new product, you are going to know which methodology you need to use, and how to sell more your product, and to try to have let's say like an information before to launch that product. So yeah, if we can go to the program. As you see, we have like a huge model of methodologies, because the aim of this master is that you're going to be an expert, not only to know the different methodologies, like the subjective methodology or objective methodologies, but also when do you need to use that methodologies, how to use it, how to design the different sensory tests, for who is going to be that test, how do you need to plan the environment. It should be controlled. It should be like a real environment. Also, to be able to analyze all the data, at the end, sensory analysis is based on statistics. So you need to have all a huge knowledge in statistics. So you're going to be able to analyze all the data, to interpret the data, to be able to interpret the diagrams, and also to transmit that knowledge to maybe the rest of the food industry, the rest of your team, to be able to do that research or to launch that project. We are going to have sensory analysis applied to R&D and applied to consumer studies, because we want to for you to have knowledge about how different kind of consumers perceive the food in a different way. Imagine, for example, people with different medical conditions, like people with dysphagia or cancer, where the way we perceive the food is changing. Also for elderly people or for kids, like the way we play with food, or kids can have neophobia. All of that facts is important to be considered. And also there is another model on all the human factors that are going to have an influence on how we perceive all the neuroscience, physiology, genetics, psychology, and sociology all apply to consumer study to be able um, to control all those factors when we are designing food products. So probably if you do this master, you are going to end working with maybe people from gastronomic sciences, but you are going to be like the expert, and you are going to have all the tools to be a professional and independent to be like the sensory analysis expert. So the next slide, Juan Carlos, please. Yeah. Who is going to be like your future if you do this master? So you could go to do sensory analysis research. Imagine, for example, to go to, I don't know, DTU, Harvard, CSIC-IATA, different universities with a sensory analysis team where you can research everything related with consumer behavior or flavor. You could go to a strategic innovation, because at the end you're going to have a huge knowledge about consumer behavior, all the factors, also like cross-cultural difference where you need to launch the same product in different countries. So you're going to be like a really a special person in that team to do that strategic innovation. Experience and consumer insight. There is another part of in sensory analysis and sensory perception that is more artistic, let's say. So you're going to know how the lights, the sound, the colors have an influence in your sensory perception. And also we're going to have a subject in sensory marketing. So imagine, for example, create a marketing strategy and to change the colors and the smell to have more sales in your company. And the last one, that is R&D. As I said, you're going to be part of that team that you're probably going to be working with people with more experience, maybe in the more physicochemical sensory part, but it's important for you to have that knowledge to work in teams and to be the expert, so you can help in that sensory and analytic part when you're launching a product.
Okay, thank you, Raquel. Have you finished?
Yes.
All right. Okay. How does it sound so far? I hope that you enjoy and you are kind of happy with all the differences between the different programs. Here at the Basque Culinary Center and GOI in the master programs, we love students. We like students. You are the very center of everything. And because of that, we like also to have a good relation after after finishing the program. That's why we really think that the best ones to explain what you could find here in the master programs are the students themselves. So that's why I would like to introduce you these people, alumni. They are working in fermentation or even in sensory analysis. So I don't know if Natalia is around. Maider, Natalia is around.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Well, I cannot see you. Oh, hello, Natalia.
Yeah.
How are you?
Fine.
Let me introduce
Good to
you,
see
Natalia Santamaria. Maybe you can introduce yourself and explain a little bit what you have done before and what you are doing now, please.
Sure. So hi everyone, I'm Natalia. I studied gastronomic, the Master of Gastronomic Science in the Basque Culinary Center, and since then I've been working on sensory and consumer research. First, well, when I finished my master, I went to Bangkok. In there, I did a project with chocolate. So we did more the part of R&D. We develop a product with the chocolate from Thailand. And right now I'm working in a technological center, in a wine technological center. And in there, we work with a trained panel. And also we do consumer research about tendencies in the market of wine right now, studies like which type of wine do young people like, or what can we do in order to make this industry more sustainable and the consumer can accept this type of changes and all that.
Okay, thank you, Natalia. You come in. I mean, you have a scientist profile.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Well, just some years ago when you decided just to do the master program in gastronomic sciences. Do you remember why did you do it?
Yeah, sure. I was like a little bit confused, like everyone when they finish their career, their bachelor's degree. So I wanted to follow studying science, but I sensed like that type of creativity that I wasn't able to explore anywhere else. So that was when I found Basque Culinary Center, and I have like that feeling that I could explore that creativity and like melt in with the science part that I really wanted to keep working on. So that's why I choose to study with you.
Was it difficult to work with other kind of profiles like chefs and sociologists or something like that?
Well, at the beginning, I felt like I didn't like fit up in the group because we were like different backgrounds, different interests, different nationalities too. But then all of us had one thing in common, that we didn't want to follow like the path that was set up for us before. So that was why we like make a great team and learn a lot from each other in the master.
Okay, thank you, thank you so much, Natalia. Jose, are you there?
Here I am. Hello.
Jose de la Rosa, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Jose de la Rosa, and I'm the founder of the project Fermented Freelance. Basically, I'm a biologist and a gastronomic scientist that decide to start his own project here in the land where I born in Huelva, south of Spain, Andalusia. And basically, what we do here is research and development, all related to food, of course, and using fermentation as a main tool to transform and to add value, especially if we are focusing on the leftovers and food waste in general. No, at the end, the use of the microorganisms is a nice tool for that, for transforming and adding value. I don't know if I answer.
Yeah, sure, yeah. I remember you are from the very first year of the master program in gastronomic sciences. Maybe, I mean, it was just a long time ago, Jose. But are you still thinking about the things, the good things or the bad things also that the master program gives you? Different vision or whatever. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, as you just say, I come from the first promotion. So let's say that this kind of interaction, this kind of presentation didn't even exist. It was only you. So I had no like expectations, but I knew that I wanted to join my scientific background as a biologist by that moment with gastronomy. I had clear in my mind that gastronomy was my passion, and I did want I wanted to apply, all that science into the gastronomy. So the master's program gave me that, simply gave me that. I don't right now, it's like 9 years ago, 8, 9 years ago. So I don't remember the negative things, being honest. I just remember the positive things. And if I'm here, it's thanks to that master's program that I studied. Um, Maybe it sounds exaggerated, and maybe people think that I'm overselling the master's program, but it is not. Honestly, open my mind and allow me to connect with a network of people that allow me to develop my own project and my own path. That's really difficult being a biologist in Spain. So yeah, it gave me a lot of positive things.
Okay, and you finally became another teacher from the Basque Culinary Center.
That's true. It's one of my favorite jobs, actually.
All right. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Jose. We don't have more time. It would be great just to have a longer chat with you and Natalia. Thank you. Thank you very much. We are running out of time. But I mean, these guys, Natalia and Jose, are maybe a good example of what you can find there. And now this is maybe the most important question by now. What are the differences between the different masters? Because if you see, Jose did a master in gastronomic sciences, but now he's working in fermented food, and Natalia, she did the master in gastronomic sciences, but now she's working in sensory analysis. So how could you just make the choice? Well, if you remember in the slide, you can see the very first slides and the concept of gastronomy 360 degrees. If you remember this picture, you can just locate it like in representative way the different programs. Mastering gastronomic sciences is just in the middle. It doesn't mean that it's more important. It means that the master in gastronomic sciences is going to give you the broad vision. By doing the master in gastronomic sciences, and we know that, we are sure that it happens, you will change your way of thinking. You will change your mentality. If you want just to have different approaches in your life, maybe you are a scientist, but you are not very comfortable with the usual or classical way to do the science, just do this master. That's, as I said, that's maybe the mother of the different programs, the mother, because you could see different topics in fermented food and also in sensory analysis, but obviously because you will have a global vision, you will see other topics. So the depth of the different topics are going to be in less extent. You will be an expert of everything, but without knowing everything. Although with the master in food fermentation, for example, is just out of the center, because you still have that global vision, obviously, because that's the philosophy of the Basque Culinary Center, by looking at having that global vision, but you will spend almost 2 years in food fermentation. So you will become an expert on food fermentation, but also having this kind of global vision. And the same with the master in sensory analysis and consumer sciences. You will have that vision, but you will become an expert, a well-defined expert in sensory analysis and sensory perception. That would be overall, obviously, and generally speaking, the differences between the different master degrees. I don't know, Costi, Raquel, or Cipri, you want to add something else there? Are you okay? Okay.
I just want to add something. Like we are also, Raquel and I, alumni from the Master in Gastronomic Sciences. And I think it's a good example of how you can like also like focus on a subject and working on a more specific level in the sensory perception, for example, in the case of Raquel, and also exploring the openness, no, of gastronomy. I'm a designer and Raquel is a food technologist. So we both found our way in the space that we wanted.
Sure. Thank you, Costi. That's a good comment. Anyone else? Raquel, Cipri? No.
Not really. Like all the master, because I don't know if that was clear, have the same structure, and we are going to be all together in GOE. We are going to have some like sessions in common because we want to create this network, and we're going to have like some dynamics where we are going to exchange with the other masters. So that is also going to be like positive for you if you join us in each one. In all of them, also you're going to have like amazing internships and amazing opportunities with a lot of different like possibilities in different parts of the world. So yeah, I think that now the difficult question is which one you want to do.
Sure, Raquel, you're very right, because at the end it would be crazy if all the students from the different master programs, they don't mix. It would be silly for us because our mentality is just mixing everything in a good way. So that's maybe what are you going to do in that GOI, the Gastronomy Open Ecosystem. It doesn't mean you are doing your program, obviously, but you will have connections because the topics are connected and we want to connect people. We are doing that all the time. You will have some common spaces physically, but mentally too. You will have some challenges, hopefully all together, and you will be able to create a network with other people, not only the students, but also professionals. Today, for example, in the master program was just someone from Sony AI from London, for example. You will have that opportunity to mix and to relate and to do maybe or to find your way. Sometimes normally we won't tell you which is your way. You will find it out for sure. That's for sure, even if you sometimes feel a little bit lost. That's something needed to find properly to yourself at the end. Okay, we have finished with the presentation. I think that now there is time for questions. And
Yes.
okay.
Yes, of course. We have some questions, and the first one is, how is the admission process?
Yeah. Shall I answer that? Yeah. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So normally, I mean, you need to apply for a master program, depending on the people. And correct me, please, Costi, Raquel, and Cipri, that you are now more in than me. Depending on the people, you may have some meetings online with other people, like a focus group, just trying to know each other and just trying to explain for us, at least, just to explain much better the details of the program. And after that, if you are, I mean, you are okay with everything, all the, I mean, all your stuff, your profiles and stuff, you will have a personal interview. After that, the team will decide who is suitable for the program. Kosti, I don't know if you want to add something about that.
It's exactly what you said, Juan Carlos. For the in the case of the mastering gastronomic sciences, we do the focus group, and then we do an interview. In the case of sensory perception and fermentation, it's directly an interview.
Right.
Okay. And how many places are available in each master's degree?
You say, Kosti?
In gastronomic sciences, there are 20 to 25. In the other two, also 20 to 25. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of that's a small group. We like to have not a big group because I mean the relation with all the professors and mentors is very close, so we like just to deal with small teams.
Okay, we have another question. And when is the deadline for enrollment?
We are still open, like the admission process is still open. I think it's until June, July. I think that's, but depending on how many people is enrolled, sometimes it extends a bit more. The important thing here is that if you need to do visa or any process to get here, it's important to enroll as soon as possible in order to be able to make it to the starting date.
Okay, we have some questions about personal cases, and maybe it's better that we will answer individually by email. So, sorry, I think it's we have another question, and it's a person who asked us, this is more specific case. Let me know if I have to ask it in private. I can see myself working in bars or restaurants. So I think there are very individually personal cases, sorry. So we will answer individually by email. And I think with these words and these last comments, we have to finish this session. And
I think that, sorry, Maider, very
yes.
quickly, I think there are two more, there are some, that I can see some questions here that we can answer about the final master project. It's not necessary, like, we try to meet the needs and expectations of the students, but we cannot assure that the internship it will be paid. So it will depend on every case. That's very important that when you choose where you want to go, you make sure that you have like everything you need to cover your time there. But sometimes it is a case that the institution have some payment for the student. Then about the working in bars or restaurants, Maite Purcarea, the experience one, like if you want to understand the whole experience and the different approaches to it, I would say the master in gastronomic science may fit best. but also because we do this focus group, you can go to the enroll and go to the focus group and see if that works okay. And if not, in the interview, we can help you with your with any question that you may have to find the right space for that. And for Paula, you need a recommendation letter. It doesn't have any specific format, just a you need a motivation letter, not necessarily a recommendation one, just sorry for that. And I think the other ones are more specific. We will get back to you.
There is another one
After?
in the chat.
In the chat, I can search. Yes, you can study any of the programs with a food and agribusiness background. Pierre Lasse, I think is your name. I hope I'm telling your names properly. Yeah. Yes, we accept people from very different backgrounds. All the way from law, engineer, science, education, psychology, arts, history, industrial engineer for sure.
Only sometimes additionally you need to be
The microphone, please, Raquel.
Sorry, sometimes you need to do a course before starting the official officially starting the master. You may need to do some courses that we will explain you in the interview.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have to close this session for today. And thank you for all our coordinators, to the alumni, Natalia and Jose, to stay with us today, and to all of you following us today. So thank you so much and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Good luck.